Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and welcome to our 1976 Yankees replay. And this is your home for tutorials, strategy, player profiles, history reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and so much more. And this is your host, CP. And it's going to be the Indians versus the Yankees at Yankee Stadium here in the Bronx, 161st Street. You are looking at Rick Waits, who was 7-9 with a 4 ERA, versus Catfish Hunter, who was 17-15 with a 3.53 ERA. I believe he won 20 games in 1975 for the Yankees. 75 was the first year that he joined the Yankees. And probably 76 was the last really complete year that he had with the Yankees. He was troubled with a bunch of arm problems after this point. But then again, he's been winning. I think he had 5 straight years of winning over 20 games. So he was an elite pitcher of his time in that era of the early 70s, Jim Catfish Hunter. And we have his 1977 baseball card here. So we can take a quick peek at how he was doing. So let's see, wins. 121 in 71, 21 in 72, 20, a little bit better view here. Okay, so he won 21 3 years in a row. From 71 to 73, he won 21 games. Then he won 25 in 74. He won 23 for the Yankees in 75. And then in 76, he won 17 games. So, I mean, he was a dominant pitcher of his day in that period of the early 70s, Jim Catfish Hunter. And we're right about to get started now. We're playing inside pitch baseball. And I guess flip these over. It's it's going to be Hunter facing Kuiper, and then Rick Waits facing the Yankees. So Hunter is going to take the mound, and he's going to face Kuiper, second baseman leading off. Batting second is Rick Manning, the center fielder. Then it's George Hendrick, the left fielder. Rico Cardi in the DH spot. And in the cleanup spot, Booger Powell, first baseman, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Buddy Bell, the third baseman. Alan Ashby, seventh, the catcher. In the eighth slot is Charlie Spikes, the right fielder, and then Frank Duffy, the shortstop. We're playing inside pitch baseball, so this is a great opportunity to also practice if you are learning to play the game as well. What can I say here? We're going to use a red, which is the column. You start with the pitcher's card, then you go to batter's card, and if that does not suffice, we have a ballpark card, so it's like the triad system. So it's the red for the column, it's the white for the row, and then you can have a 20-sided die for any additional information, like a modifier die or informational die, if you will, that will give us more information. So we're going to get started. We're going to throw them into our tower. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us. And I believe let's give Yankees are 40-20, and this is game 61 of the season. And let me quickly look at how they were doing in actuality. They were 38-23, and after this game, they actually lose this game by a score of 3-2. So they're going to be 38-23 unless we can, we may win this game, and then our record will be a little bit better than that. We're at 40-20. I only have stats for the Yankees since I'm using ball score. Now I did a video earlier on how I'm kind of organizing my future replays, and I'm going to be using replay baseball until something else is better. So far, the best I've found is replay baseball, easiest to use, and that's how I'm going to simulate the whole season while playing and inputting one team. So that's what my new system is going to be, and I'm ready to roll. So I'm not going to be using ball score, ball pad. I'm not going to be using iScore. I still may do some paper and pencil by hand because I don't want to. When I feel like it, I'll go by hand, and then I'll just input the stats. And I'm ready to roll here. So let's get going on this. So one thing I want to do before I get started, somebody made a funny comment, and I have to respond, a little bit sarcastic, so I want to respond to that. So the frustrating is just how much you're thinking of ballpark. That's all right, we're going to get started now. And Hunter's ready. Jim Catfish Hunter in our replay. Jim Catfish Hunter is got a 2.27 ERA, and he's 10-5. So he's been doing pretty well. And here goes. Here's the pitch. And that's a 2-3. A 2-3, that's a blank. So we're going to go off Dwayne Kuiper's card. And a 3-6, and that's a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. So Kuiper's on with a single. He's going to try to get a lead. He's a 5. Hunter's a 1 on the jump, and he's a 4 on the jump attempt. So that's a 5. We roll a 20. So that may be picked off. And Hunter's pickoff is 1-3. We're going to roll and see what happens. And that's a 7. So he does not get picked off. He gets back in time. So Kuiper's on with a single. Rick Manning next. That's a 5-2, and that's a range play, ballpark range play. So this is where we get our green die. And that's a 6-1, so it's going to be a range play to the shortstop. Who's playing shortstop for the Yankees today? Let's take a quick peek. It's going to be Fred Stanley and Willie Randolph at short and second. And then at third base is Nettles. At first base is Chambliss. Behind the plate is Fran Healy. Catfish Hunter on the mound. Roy White in left, Mickey Rivers in center, and Thurman Munson in right field today. Yes, he's in right field, not very good range, and a high error rating for Thurman Munson playing right. But we are going to get a ground ball to the shortstop, and that is Fred Stanley. He's a 3 range, but we roll a 2, so dives for the ball, up with it, fires to first, and Fred Stanley with a web gem. But wait a second. We had a runner on first base, so that could turn into a potential fielder's choice. So let's roll a die for that, or even a double play. And a 6 is no. He makes the long throw to first, and moving to second is Kuiper. All righty. So let's move on. Now it's going to be George Hendrick. All right. George Hendrick, 149 games, 255 with 25 home runs. Here's the pitch. Say 1-5, and that's a range play. But this is going to be off Hendrick's card, a little bit different. But we still need to roll that green die. Roll a 4-1, and that's a 9. Oh, boy. Thurman Munson is a 1 out there. So that's trouble whenever you hit a ball to Thurman Munson. Not normally he's not going to get to it. It's going to drop in there. Now, does it drop for a single or a double? And that's going to be a double for Hendrick. And that's going to score Kuiper, so it's 1-0 Cleveland. Yeah, Thurman Munson out in right field is just not very competent. Kind of have him out there just to give him a break from being a catcher, and I think he was having problems with his knees and so forth. So they were letting him play outfield for a few games during the '76 season to rest his knees. And it's Rico Cardi now. Rico Cardi batted .310, and I mean, so he's one of the top 10 hitters in the league. Rico Cardi with 13 home runs and a .310 batting average. So he is definitely holding his own. And here's the pitch. That's a 6-1. That's a potential strikeout. A 20 won't be a strikeout. That's a little bit on the high end there. We're going to roll. Oh, that's a foul ball. So we're going to roll off Rico Cardi's card. A 6-5. And that's a star line, too. That's a fly ball center field. And to his right is Mick the Quick, and he gets there. That retires the that is out number 2. Excuse me. Out number 2. And now it's Boog Powell. Boog Powell in 300 at-bats, batted .215, hit 9 home runs. So he's still got a little bit of power. Proportionally, in 300 at-bats, if he would have doubled that, played a whole season, let's say, had 600 at-bats, he would have hit 18 home runs. Would have had 66 RBIs. Boog Powell. Got a runner at second base. That's George Hendrick. Here's the pitch to the lefty, Boog Powell. That's a 4-2, and that's a potential – well, that's actually a blank against lefty. We're going to roll off Powell's card, a 3-3, and that's a ground ball and up the middle and through for a base hit. And coming around to score is going to be Hendrick. Hendrick's got to be a 3 for sure. He is a 3, so he's going to score easily. So that's going to be 2-0 Cleveland. Our 2-out single by Boog Powell. And Powell's on at first base, so even at his twilight of his career, he's still productive with the Cleveland Indians in 1976. Buddy Bell. Buddy Bell, 600 bats, batted .281. Here's the pitch. That's a 4-1. 4-1 is wild, a wild 8, and that's going to be a wild pitch. And to second base goes Powell. So again, the Indians have a runner in scoring position. Powell's not very fast. He's only a 1 base runner, so that's going to be trouble to score from second on a hit. We're going to look off Bell here, 4-3, and that's a line drive base hit past the second baseman. And that's going to score Powell, I believe. Let me double check that. Not easy, but since there are 2 outs, he may get that 2-out boost. S4, he does, and around to score is Powell, 3-0. So the Cleveland Indians, with a couple of 2-out hits, take a 3-0 lead over the 76 Yankees, and it's Alan Ashby. So Jim Catfish Hunter struggling here a little bit in the first inning. Pitch to Alan Ashby, who's a .239 hitter, which is actually not too shabby. I thought he was worse than that. That's a 5-1 versus a switch hitter who's batting lefty. That's a potential home run. And a 19 is not going to cut it. He goes up to a 9. So we're going to roll off Ashby. And a 3-4 is a potential hit. And it is. It's a pull down the line into the right field corner. And scoring easily is Buddy Bell and around second, and there's going to be a throw to third and the relay, and not in time. Alan Ashby with a 2-out triple. Holy smokes. Let's double check that. That's a 3-4, and that's a question mark 7, and that's a 17 we roll, and that's a triple for Alan Ashby. Holy smokes. Wow. Charlie Spikes now. Runner on third. So Jim Catfish Hunter finds himself down 4-0 in the first inning. Here's the pitch. That's a 5-5. That's going to be a blank, so we're going off Charlie Spike's card. And a 1-3 is a ground ball hit hard. Oh, scooped by the shortstop Stanley over to first. And that retires the side. But the Cleveland Indians score 4 runs on 5 hits. And they lead at 4-0. Mickey Rivers leading off against Rick Waits, the left-hander. So we're going to have to be aware that he's a left-hander. 5-6, that's an error on a potential error on a grounder. 5-2, and it's a ball that's pulling to the gap. And that's going to split the outfielders. And Mickey Rivers easily into second base standing up. Leadoff double for Mick the Quick. Roy White next, batting 279. Got off to a torrid start, was batting in the upper 300s, but cooled off lately. He's been kind of struggling and somewhat of a slump, batting 279. He's got 9 doubles, 2 triples, 7 home runs, 28 RBIs in close to half the season. We're around 244 at bats. All right, so Mickey Rivers at second base. We'll try to get a lead. And a 15 is not going to do it. Roy White. That's a 4-2, and that's a double question mark. Double question mark is going to take us to an 18. Roy White's batting righty, and that's going to be a ground ball up the middle and through to center field for a base hit, and that's going to score Rivers. RBI single for Roy White. And let's try to get a – oh, nope, no lead for Roy White, and here goes Thurman Munson. And that's a 3-3. That's a range play off Munson's card. And we got to do that. 4-3. 4-3 is a ground ball to shortstop. And nice play by the shortstop, Duffy. This may go for a double play. Let's see what happens here. And we roll a 4. Munson's a 2. Nothing there. There are no pivot advantage. Oh, wait, there's a pivot for Duffy, but this was a ground ball to Duffy. So it's going to be a fielder's choice. So it's going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. And scoring easily is Rivers. So Munson picks up an RBI. Rick Waits against Lou Piniella. That's a 2-1. That's a range play ballpark card. And that's a 3-1. Let's see. Well, that's too bad because all right, a 3-1 is a pop-up to the catcher. And the catcher, Ashby, we roll a 2, so he's going to get to that ball. That's out number 2. And it's Chris Chambliss. Now, Munson's at first base. We're going to try to get a lead for him. And you know what? We're going to use that number 1, and we're going to roll again for a stolen base of 17. The throw down, not in time. And they get Munson trying to steal second base, and that's going to retire the side. So it's caught stealing. And we go to the top of the second inning. Hunter against Frank Duffy. That's a 5-2. That's a range play ballpark. It's a 4-4. And that's a ground ball third base, and that's Byam. This potentially could be a double, and it is a double. So Duffy pulls one down the line and into the corner, and after it is White. That ball just got under Nettles' glove at third base. Leadoff double for Frank Duffy. Dwayne Kuiper. The pitch to Kuiper, 2-6. It's a potential strikeout, 13. And Kuiper's not gonna strike out there, so we're rolling off Kuiper's card. He fouls it off, 3-4, and that's a potential. It is a single. That's line base hit, center field, and Frank Duffy's gonna hold at third base. Nobody's out, first and third. Kuiper's gonna try to get a lead. We'll use that 12. We haven't used it yet, and he's not gonna manage that. Rick Manning now. Here's the pitch to Manning, 5-2. That's a range play ballpark. Holy cow. Range play ballpark, and we got to do that's a 4-4. It was a 4-4. And a 4-4 is a star line 4, which is ground ball to Nettles. And Nettles, nice play at third base, backhands it. Which way is he going to go with a runner on first? He may be able to pull off a double play. Manning is a 2. There's nothing there. At second base, there's a +1. There's a 4. And on the double play, makes the play on the range play. We need a 4 or less for the double play. And it's a 5-4-3 double play. Scoring is Duffy. Two outs. That's George Hendrick. George Hendrick doubled and drove in a run in the first inning. The first inning that saw the Indians score 4 runs. Here's a pitch from Hunter. That's a 2-5, and that's a potential error. Potential error, 5-1, and that's a pop-up to the third baseman. And a 12, nope, he's going to make that catch, and that retires the side. Nice catch near the stands for Greg Nettles, and it's Chris Chambliss leading it off here. He's a left-handed batter. Now, Chambliss had a rough start to 1976 in our replay, and he was batting 190 for a long time. He's got his batting average up to 264. He's a 293 hitter. So that's a 1-6, and that's a potential strikeout versus a lefty. That is a strikeout. So Manning gets Chambliss on a curveball. Greg Nettles next. And that's a 2-6. That's a blank. Off Nettles, a 5-2. That's a ground ball, third base. And that's Bell. Fires the first and gets his man. It's Fran Healy, right-handed batter, 2-4. And that's going to be ballpark. Ballpark 5-4, and that's a ball that's Stanley lifts to the opposite field and a 13, and that's gone. Fran Healy, Fran Healy gets a hold of one, sends it to the opposite field, and puts the Yankees on the board. Oh no, that's a second run for the Yankees. Let's go back. We had a fielder's choice in that inning. That's right, in the first inning. So it's a 5-2 ball game now with that Fran Healy home run. Now, Fran Healy doesn't play very much. But today, he makes a difference with that home run. All right, there's 1 out. There's 2 outs. It's 5-2. Cleveland. Bottom of the second, Willie Randolph. That's a 4-5, and that's versus a righty. That's a ground ball up the middle and through in the center field for a base hit. So Randolph is on. Randolph's trying to get a lead. That 14 is not going to do it. Fred Stanley next with 2 outs. Now it's Fred Stanley. That's a 5-3, and that's a potential throwing error. And a 4-5, it's a fly ball center field. Manning is there, and that retires the side. Yankees do come up with a run on the home run by Fran Healy, and it's a 5-2 ball game, Cleveland. Let's see if Jim Hunter can settle down, get into some sort of groove. That's 4-6. That's a strikeout. Is nope, foul back. Rico Cardi. And a 6-5 is a fly ball center field. Rivers settles under it, makes the catch. Boog Powell's next. Boog Powell singled in his first at bat in the first inning, 6-2. That's a potential throwing error. And it's a 6-2. That's a ground ball second base to Randolph. Whips it over to Chambliss. 2 down. Buddy Bell. And the 3-1 is a star line something or other, and that's a star line fly ball. Shallow center. Mickey Rivers. That retires the side. We go to bottom of the third. Mickey Rivers leading it off. 5-2 Cleveland. It's a 5-6 error on a grounder. Let's see what happens here. And a 4-1 is a ground ball to the first baseman. So we're going to see if this is an infield hit and he can get some sort of an error and move on. The first baseman is Powell. And Powell's error numbers is a 7. We rolled a 6. So it is going to be an error. So it's a single and an error on the first baseman. So it looks like there's a ball that hit to Powell, and Mickey Rivers is going to beat it out. Powell kind of throws the ball away, trying to get it to the pitcher. And Rivers takes second base. So it's going to be a single and second base on an error to the first baseman, or on the first baseman, Boog Powell. So Rivers is second base now. Nobody out. Roy White. It's a 6-1. That's a blank. And a 1-2, and that's a star line fly ball to right. And it's Darren Munson. 2-5 is a potential strikeout, but 7 is not going to do it, so we're rolling off Munson. A 3-5, and that's popped up. Shortstop. Duffy. 2 down. Lou Piniella. Pitch to Lou Piniella. 6-5 is ballpark. Rolling off the ballpark. 3-3, and that's going to be a fly ball left field. Nope. Ground ball, second base. Kuiper throws out Piniella, and that retires the side. Alan Ashby, top of the fourth. 5-2 Cleveland. Pitch from Hunter. 3-2 double question mark, and 11 versus a lefty batter is going to be some sort of an out, and that's a 2. Fly ball center field. 1 down. Ashby flies out to center. Charlie Spikes. A 1-2 is a blank. We're rolling off Spikes' card. 3-2 is a comebacker to Hunter. Feels his position. And throws out Spikes. Duffy now. And that's a 5-6 versus a righty is a strikeout plus. Strikeout goes to 19, 16. We roll a 15. So it's strike 3, and Hunter strikes out Duffy. And that retires the side. Go to the bottom of the fourth. Chris Chambliss. And it's blank, so we're looking off Chambliss's card. And a 2-6, and that's going to be a fly ball driven in the gap. And, Manning runs it down. Great play by Rick Manning in center field. So they robbed Chris Chambliss of a potential double there. Next is Greg Nettles, 1 out. Bottom of the fourth. 5-2 Cleveland. 6-5. It's Yankee Stadium. 1-2, and that's popped up high center field. Manning is there, makes the catch. Fran Healy, who homered in his first at bat today. Potential ground ball error. It's a 4-5, and it's a fly ball to right. And that retires the side. Go top of the fifth, Kuiper. 6-5, potential hit by pitch -5, and it's not going to be. So we're going to roll off Kuiper's card, a 3-5. And off the right is a hard hit grounder. Stanley throws him out. Rick Manning is next. It's a 4-6, a potential strikeout, and it won't be. Rolling off Manning's card, 2-3, and that's a comebacker to Hunter. And he underhands it to first baseman Chambliss. 2 down. George Hendrick. Hendrick is 1 for 2 with a double. Pitch from Hunter. 2-3 blank. We're rolling off Hendrick's card. A 1-3, and that's a star line 4, which is a ground ball backhanded by Nettles. Long throw to first in time. Great play by Nettles. Knew he had to rush it. George Hendrick was jetting down the line. Willie Randolph. Rick Waits, bottom of the fifth, 5-2 Cleveland. Can the Yankees come back? I don't know. It's off Randolph's card. 5-4, fly ball right field. Looks like it's, who's out there? Charlie Spikes is in right field. Makes the catch, 1 out. Fred Stanley. Pitch to Stanley, 1-5. That's a blank. And it's 2-3, and that's a chopper to shortstop. And waiting back a split second is Duffy. Now he charges, fires to first. Great play by Frank Duffy. 2 down. Mickey Rivers. 2-3, a potential walk. Now, not Rivers. Rivers doesn't walk very much. That's a 5-6 it is, and that's a fly to left towards the line. And that's Hendrick out there, makes the catch. Top of the 6th, moving along in this game. Rico Cardi leading it off against Jim Catfish Hunter. And Catfish Hunter's really settled down there. That's a 5-6, and that's a card hit grounder to the third baseman, Nettles. 1 down. Boog Powell, 1-5, and that's a range play. Range play 6-4. And that's a fly ball to right. And with Munson out there, that's going to drop in. Question is it going to be a single or a double? And it's going to be a single. So Munson, again, fails to get to the ball. Single for Powell. Thurman Munson's playing right field tonight. That was an experiment that Martin tried because of Munson's knees. Hey there, Philip. How are you doing, brother? Buddy Bell now. Buddy Bell batted .281 with 7 home runs and 600 bats. These guys weren't hitting for power very much. We got a pretty decent game here. It's 5-2 Cleveland. We are in the top of the 6th inning. There's 1 out. Boog Powell on at first base. Buddy Bell the batter. Catfish Hunter the pitch. 2-5. That's a potential error. And a 2. That's going to be an error if it's that's a potential error. And it is going to be an error on the left fielder, I believe. Let's take a look. It's going to be Roy White, who's a 3. But it's that's a fly ball that Roy White bobbles but holds on to. 2 down. So Buddy Bell flied out to White. White had some trouble with it, bobbled it a bit, but was able to hold on to it. And it's Alan Ashby. It's a pitch from Hunter. 4-5. He's batting lefty. That's a potential home run. An 18 is not going to do it, so we're rolling off Ashby. Snake eyes. That's going to be a ground ball. First base, Chambliss is going to take it himself. And that retires the side. Leading it off here in the bottom of the 6th is Roy White. Pitch from Waits. 1-3. That's a potential home run. Going to roll off of the versus left-handed batter 1-17. So now we're going to roll off Roy White's card to see what happens. Versus a lefty, it's 1-6. And we had a 4 and it becomes an 11. So we're rolling off Roy White. And a 4-5 is a star line hard hit ground ball to the shortstop Duffy. Duffy Low in the dirt, but scooped up by Powell. And they get White on a grounder. Thurman Munson now. Munson's 0 for 2. Munson's batting .355. He's got 17 doubles, no triples, 7 home runs, 43 RBIs. He was a 76 MVP. That's a 2-6. That's blank. So we're looking at Munson's card, a 3-3, and that's fly ball to right. 2 down. Lou Piniella. Pinella's 0 for 2. 1-5 is a blank. Off Pinella's card, a 5-2, a card hit ground ball, third base. Bell fires to first and gets his man. 3 up, 3 down for Rick Waits. Top of the 7th, Charlie Spikes. Range play. Off of Spikes' card, a 4-6er. It's a comebacker to Hunter. Great play by Hunter, and throws out Spikes. Throw was a little high, but Chambliss made a nice play. Let's say 1-3, and that's going to be A on that. Wait a second. All right. So now it's Frank Duffy. Here's a pitch from Hunter. 3-3 is a ballpark card. Ballpark 3-5, and that's going to be a question mark. 7, we roll a 3. That's going to be a single for Duffy. Single to left field. Frank Duffy. That's his second hit in the game. And see if we get a lead. 19's not going to do it. Kuiper now. Pitch from Hunter is 6-6, so we're rolling off Kuiper. 5-3, and that's line base hit center field. Let's see Duffy, what kind of speed he has. You know what? There's 1 out. Let's see if we can get him over to third. He is a 3. He is a 3, and we have Rivers out there. Rivers is a 0. So let's see. Center field going to first to third. It's going to be a -1, so that makes it a 2. We're going to hold off on that. Just play it safe. So it's first and second. 1 out. Top of the 7th. Let's take a look at Hunter's got 27-28, so he still has a few more to go. Rick Manning now. Yanks are going to bring the infield in. That's a 3-6. That's a star line versus lefty. No, it's blank versus a lefty. And it's a 1-6 and versus a righty. That's going to be pulled down the line into the right field corner, and that's going to go for 1 run for sure. And it's going to be a stand-up double for Rick Manning against Jim Catfish Hunter here. Let's see Kuiper. Can you try to score Kuiper? Kuiper's a 3, and that is a 1-6. A double to center field. Going from first to home, and that's going to be a +1. So now we're looking at a 4. We're looking at a 4. I'm going to try to score him. I'm going to throw 2d6. And we're going to try doing a red and a white here. Oh, that's a 6 result. Then we're going to have to look in the second. And the next result is a 3. Lead runner's thrown out. So great throw by Mickey Rivers. Throws out Dwayne Kuiper. And a 3 is greater or equal to the – he's a 3. Okay, greater or equal, the runner advances on the throw. So taking second on the throw home. So let's see. We get a runner that's out at the plate. And then we're going to move to second base. So that's going to be an assist. Center field, Mickey Rivers with a great relay, a great throw to the relay man. And then it was Rick Manning's a lefty, so it was the second baseman who fired a bullseye to the catcher. And we're going to get an assist for the second baseman. Let's get all that in here. And then we're going to get a put out for the catcher, Ashby. I'm sorry, for the catcher, Fran Healy. All right, we're going to put, let's see. Oh, we got Manning on a double at second base. Okay. Oh, so he can potentially take third base on this. So we're going to put him on third base. We are going to put him on third base because he took the extra base. He already had a double. So put the runner at third base. There he is. He's at third base now on the throw. So there's 2 outs, and it's George Hendrick. So that was exciting. Play at the plate. We threw out Dwayne Kuiper. And now it's George Hendrick with 2 out. 6-2 Cleveland. Here's the pitch. And that's a Snake Eyes range play. So range play on Hendrick's card. And that's a 3-2. That's a ground ball, third base. And Nettles up with it. Fires to first. And that's a third out. But the Indians pick up another run, and they lead it by a score of 6-2. Chris Chambliss leading it off against Waits in the bottom of the 7th. It's a 6-4 range play off of Chambliss's card, and that's a 5-5, and that's a fly ball left field. Now the left fielder out there is Hendrick. Is he a 5? I don't know. No, he's not even close to a 5. So that's going to drop in there. See if we can get a double out of it, and he cannot. So Chambliss singles to left. Little blooper that falls in front of the left fielder, Hendrick. And that is Chambliss's first hit of the day. 1 for 3. Greg Nettles. A lot of dice in there. There's a lot of dice rolling in this game. That's one thing. A lot of things going on. So 4-1 versus a lefty is a blank. So we're rolling off Nettles' card. 6-6. And he's in a fatigue zone now. I'm noticing that. 6-6 off Nettles. That's a fly ball to center field. All right, so that's 1 out. And Waits is going to try to get through this inning, but he is in the fatigue zone already. So he's done 20. Let's see how many he's got. He got 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, that was his last batter. So he's fatigued. We're going to try to get him through this inning. Fran Healy. It's 5-1. That's a potential walk, and a 12. It's going to be above the walk. It's going to be a 3-5, and that's a ground ball second base. This could potentially be a double play. We're looking at 2. We're looking at a 4, so a 4 or less, and we roll a 3. So it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play, and that retires the side. All right, so we're going to get a new pitcher for the Yankees. Let's see. New pitcher for the Yankees. Going to bring in Dick Tidrow. And he's going to be facing Rico Carty. All right, top of the 8th inning. It's 6-2 Cleveland. Dick Tidrow. Dick Tidrow in our replay has a 2.51 ERA. He's 2-2 with 1 save. In reality, he had a 2.63 ERA, and he was 4-5 with 10 saves. That's a 1-3. That's a potential throwing error. Let's see what happens. And a 6-5 is a 2, which is a ground ball third base, and a little bit offline, but Chambliss makes a nice play. Saves Nettles an error. Tidrow to Powell, 4-1. That's a range play. So we're rolling the range die, the green one. It's a 6-2. That's a ground ball second base. And up with it is Randolph. Throws out Powell, 2 down. That's Buddy Bell. It's a 1-2. It's a blank. Rolling off Buddy Bell's card, and that's a question mark 7. A 20 is not going to do it. So that's a nice catch by Roy White. Lifted to left, and Roy White runs it down. Willie Randolph in the bottom of the 8th. We got a new pitcher for. Hey there, Philip is there. Rick, how you doing, Rick? How you doing, brother? Let's see, Cleveland. Let's see who they're bringing into pitch. Dave LaRoche is going to come in. Why not? Dave LaRoche. Or LaRoche, right? That's Rick Gamble, Jim Mason, Carlos May. See if we can find him. Dave LaRoche. There he is. He's going to come in. Another lefty. He's going to take over for Rick Waits. Rick Waits does a great job. New pitcher. And let me tell you. Let's look at the box score quickly. Oh. Yeah, I didn't. Let me undo that real quick. Let me undo that. And do that again. Insert new pitcher. Got to be careful doing stuff here. You got to do a lot of stuff by hand. So let me find LaRoche. There's LaRoche, and and now he's in. That's the right pitcher. Let's look at the box score real quick, and let me tell you what. Waits went 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 1 strikeout, 2.57 ERA. It's going to be Willie Randolph against the lefty David LaRoche. Let's roll here. Say 2-4, and that's a ground ball, potential ground ball error, and a 3-6. 3-6 is a ground ball third base. That's a 4. Buddy Bell is a heck of a third baseman. Let's see where he's at. Buddy Bell is a 9, so that is going to be an error. So it's an E5. So Randolph is on. Reached first on an error by Buddy Bell. Misplayed the ball. And kind of hit off the heel of his glove and rolled away. So Fred Stanley now with a runner on first base. And we're going to let Stanley bat here. Well, you know what? I could bring in a pinch hitter. Let's do that. Let's bring in, see if I got any righties to hit. I don't know that I do. I think Otto Velez. I believe that, Sandy Alomar is going to hit. Let's get Sandy Alomar to pinch hit. We have pinch hitter is Alomar, and then Alomar will stay in and play short just to mix it up a bit. So Alomar is going to hit against Dave LaRoche. He's batting from the right side. That's a 6-3. 6-3 is a potential strikeout, and it is a strikeout. So Sandy Alomar down swinging. He's going to stay in to play shortstop. Mickey Rivers with a runner on first base. Here's the pitch. It's a 5-6. That's an error on a throw. So potential throwing error, 4-3. And there is going to be a versus lefty. It's a ground ball and through. And we could actually play that as an error, as a potential throwing error. Picks it up. He gets so let's do it's a 20, won't be an error anyway. So it's a single. And we're going to play it safe. We're not going to S4. Willie Randolph is at least a 3. And on S4, I believe he's going to get to third base easily. I don't have it memorized, but he does. He makes it to third base. So I don't even have to do anything there. So it's a single. Runners on first and third now with 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 8th, the Yanks are down by 4 runs, 6-2. The inning that really hurt Catfish was that first inning. That first inning, Catfish gave up 4 runs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. A triple and a double included in those hits that he gave up. So he struggled through that first inning, but after that, really settled down. Didn't have a bad game after that. All right, so it's Roy White, runners on first and third. At first base is Mickey Rivers, and at third base is Willie Randolph. Let's see if we can get a lead for Rivers. And an 8, maybe a lead. Let's see what happens. He's a 7. That's a -1, so there's no lead for Rivers. So Roy White, here's the pitch. That's a 3-4. That's a star line of some kind. Let's get a star line here. Let's do the black die. Oh, all right, doesn't matter. Star line 7, so that's a fly to left. This could be a sacrifice fly. Let's roll the yellow for sacrifice, and it is. So that's going to score Rivers. It's deep enough to left field. Sacrifice fly. And Randolph, is going to score. And that makes the score 6-3. And now there's 2 outs, and it's Thurman Munson. Thurman Munson so far today, what has he done? Nothing. He's 0 for 3 today. Still batting .354. Having a heck of a season. Holy smokes. Can't get this guy out. Definitely 1976 MVP for sure. So runners on first now, 6-3. So the tying run is on deck. See if we can get him. It's 2-1, and that's going to be a ballpark result, Yankee Stadium. See what happens. 3-2, and that's a potential home run on Munson against a lefty. It's a 19. That's a deep drive center field, and gone. Thurman Munson, 2-run homer, and brings the Yankees to within 1 run, 6-5. Holy smokes, that was unexpected. Thurman Munson gets a hold of a Dave LaRoche fastball, drives it into center field. It's a long drive for Thurman Munson here. And that was a 3-2 off Yankee Stadium. And we rolled either a 6 or a 9. Either one would have been a home run. It's 19 on Munson's card. So he connects versus Dave LaRoche. Holy smokes. 6-5. So the Yanks are within 1 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. They've scored 3 runs. One of them unearned. LaRoche should be out of this inning. So we really should be making those runs. We're going to turn those runs into unearned runs. I'm going to toggle those. See if I could find that. How to toggle those. Sign error, toggle unearned run. And then we're going to make the other run an unearned run. The home run is unearned as well. Yeah, because he should be out of the inning. He shouldn't even be pitching to those guys because it was that first error by Buddy Bell that extended the inning with that sacrifice fly. So all the runs are going to be unearned in this inning against Dave LaRoche. All right, so Lou Piniella now, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th batter LaRoche can face. So that's a 2-2, and that's a potential strikeout, and it is. Strike 3 against Piniella. Downswing, rings Piniella up to end the inning. So Dave LaRoche had enough. Dick Tidrow now against Ashby. So now this has become a game. It's 6-5 Cleveland. We're in the top of the 9th. It's going to be Ashby, Spikes, and Duffy. And let's get our boy Alomar in at shortstop. Got to pencil him in. Sandy Alomar is going to stay in there. He pinch hit for Fred Stanley in the bottom of the 8th. Struck out. It's going to be Alan Ashby, switch hitter, batting lefty versus Tidrow. He's 1 for 3. He tripled in the first inning, drove in a run. Since then, he's flied out and grounded to first. Here's the pitch. Yeah, that's 4-3. That's a strikeout. 18 is a little bit beyond. 6-6, and that's a ground ball through the right side for a base hit, into right field. Past Nettles. So Ashby's on at first. And next is Charlie Spikes. 6-4, that's a potential home run. And we're looking down here. Spikes is a righty. That's a 19, so that's way beyond Tidrow's home runs versus a righty. Had he been a lefty, that would have been trouble. So we're rolling on Spike's card. And a 2-5, and that's a star line fly ball to left. Roy White coming in, settles under it. Makes the catch for out number 1. Frank Duffy. Pitch to Duffy, 3-4. potential walk, and a 6 is not going to be a walk. And a 2-6, so that's a line drive base hit past the diving shortstop, Alomar. Stopping at second is Duffy. So first and second now with 1 out. And this is the top of the order. It's going to be Dwayne Kuiper and Rick Manning coming up with 1 out. Here's the pitch from Tidrow. 3-6 and versus a lefty. That's a star line, some sort of thing. Star line 2 is a ground ball to Nettles at third. This could turn out to be a double play. That's a 2. Randolph is a 1 plus halfway, and we're looking at a 6. So there's only one play, and that's across the diamond to first base. Both runners are going to move up here. You're going to have runners on second and third with 2 outs now. Only one play for Nettles on that one. Had to go to his left. And it took a while. All right, so it's Rick Manning. And in this situation, you know what? I don't normally, now, you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tidrow, 1, 7. This is his 6th. This is his 7th. This is his 8th batter. Holy smokes. So I'm a little bit fearful of bringing in any pitchers because there's so few relief pitchers that when a game goes into extra innings, you're really kind of stuck, letting guys go like, beyond their fatigue. But we are going to call in Sparky Lyle because we need Sparky Lyle to come in. Now, he's going to be the 1978 Cy Young Award winner. I believe it was the 78 Cy Young, or was it the 77? He wins the Cy Young in 77. And that is something, I think that's the first time a relief pitcher has ever really won, closers ever really won the Cy Young Award. Reading his book, the Bronx, I was thinking not the Bronx Tale, but I can't remember it now. But what is it called? The Bronx Zoo, is it? And yeah, he's a Cy Young Award winner, and he's got to beg, borrow, and steal to get a few extra dollars. He was really tiffed or miffed. I think miffed is the word. He was miffed at Steinbrenner because he signed a couple of guys like Andy Rasmussen, who was broken down at this point and had a lot of arm trouble, and gave him, a chunk of change. And Lyle, was nowhere near Reggie Jackson, who Steinbrenner paid a ton of money for, and so forth. And then they picked up a couple other players, and they were paying them pretty high salaries. And Sparky Lyle was like, but wait a second, I won the Cy Young Award. And, so anyway, let's see what's going on here. Totally got sidetracked. So we're bringing in Sparky Lyle, new pitcher. And he's going to be in there. He's going to pitch to the lefty, Rick Manning. So lefty versus lefty. Runners on second and third. 2 outs. It's 6-5 Cleveland. Cleveland would love to score a couple of runs here to give themselves a little bit of a cushion. But I don't know that that's going to happen. Rick Manning steps into the box. Rick Manning batted .292 with 6 home runs in a full season, 552 at-bats. He's facing Lyle, who in our replay has a 2 ERA. He's 0-2 with 15 saves in 36 innings. And so Lyle looks in for the sign from Munson. He sets, and here's the pitch. It's a 2-2, and that's going to be a walk plus. A walk plus sets the walk at versus a lefty, 18 minus 2, 16, but we roll a 2. So that's ball 4. High outside, 3-2 pitch. Lyle struggled there to get pitches over. So now the bases are loaded. And now Lyle's going to have to face the right-handed hitting George Hendrick. George Hendrick had 25 home runs, batted .265. Here's the pitch from Lyle, 3-3, and that's a potential strikeout, and a 20 is not going to be a strikeout. So we're going to go off Hendrick's card. This could be trouble for the Yankees. And that's a 5-2. A 5-2 is popped up right side. Randolph calling for it. And he's there, and that retires the side. So Sparky Lyle does his job, gets out of trouble, and it takes it to the bottom of the 9th inning where the Yanks only need 1 run to tie and 2 runs to win. So far, it's Cleveland 6 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors. The Yankees 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Chris Chambliss, who's 1 for 3 on the day, he's got his batting average up to 265 after hovering around the Mendoza line for much of the early part of the season. He's really come on strong as of late. And then he's going to be followed by Greg Nettles, who's got good power. Fran Healy, who's got a home run in this game. And then Willie Randolph. Now, Dave LaRoche, let's check in quickly. Let's check to see here. The Bronx Zoo. That's it, brother. So let's see who else the Indians bring in these games from the bullpen. They bring in, okay, LaRoche is their main guy. So let's see. Let me see the next game after that. This is the way I do it. I jump from game to game to see. All right, they got Jim Bibby, Stan Thomas, and Jim Kern. You know what? We got a lefty coming up. I got lefties coming up. Let's see. Bibby, Thomas, and LaRoche. Let's look. Bibby, Thomas. I know Kern is a righty. I don't know the other guy. Well, LaRoche is in there already. Thomas is another righty. And if I can't find another left, and Bibby's a righty. So you got 3 righties. LaRoche is the only lefty that I can see in their bullpen that they're using in these games. You know, it was they didn't use a lot of relief pitchers back then. You got a guy named Buskey. Is Buskey a lefty? I'd like to bring a lefty here. Nope, there's another righty. So we're going to bring in Jim Kern. I know Jim Kern became a pretty decent closer. He had actually 15 saves, so he's not too bad. So we're going to bring in Jim Kern, the closer, to face 2 lefties and a right, and then 2 righties. New pitcher, Kern. Jim Kern. He's our 3rd pitcher of the day. He's going to face Chris Chambliss. All right, bottom of the 9th. 6-5 Cleveland. Chris Chambliss against Jim Kern. It's 3-1. That's a strikeout, a 9 versus a righty, -3. So it's not. We're going off Chambliss's card, a 4-5, and that is had it been a lefty, would have been a hit. It's a ground ball to the first baseman, Powell. Nice play by Powell. Beats Chambliss to the bag. 1 away. Next is Greg Nettles, 1-6. That's a strikeout of 4. Strike 3. High heat by Jim Kern. Blows one by Greg Nettles. And that's out number 2. So the Yanks are down to their last out, Fran Healy. 1 for 3. Now we're going to bring in Oscar Gamble to pinch hit. Oscar Gamble's going to come to pinch hit for Fran Healy. Gamble's got good power. I mean, proportionally, he would have had 34 home runs in a full season, played half the season, had 17 home runs, batted only .232. But he's not doing that badly in our replays, batting .267. He's got 6 home runs and 135 at-bats. So he's right around where he should be. Now let's get this going here. All right, so Jim Kern to Oscar Gamble, who's stepping in to pinch hit for Fran Healy. Fran Healy hit a home run in the 2nd inning, solo shot. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Cleveland 6, Yankees 5. Kern looks in for the sign. Here's the pitch. That's a 5-4, and that's a double question mark. Double question mark takes us right here. We roll the 14, and that's not going to do it. There's only 1s there. So we're going to roll off Oscar Gamble's card. And a 6-2, and that's a ground ball and through for a base hit to the right side. So Gamble pulls a slider into right field for a base hit. Keeps Yankees' hopes alive, hopes of tying this game up. Willie Randolph now. Gamble takes his lead off first. Here's the pitch to Randolph. That's a 6-3. That's a potential walk, and it's not going to be a walk, even though Randolph has good walk numbers because it's a -2 in Yankee Stadium. So we're going to roll off Randolph. Here goes. That's a 4-5. A 4-5 is a ground ball, second base, Kuiper. Kuiper up with it and whips it to the first baseman, Powell, and that is the ball game. So the Yankees made it exciting there at the end. A 2-out single by Gamble gave us some hope but it was not meant to be. Yankees couldn't come all the way back. All scores detected visiting team has won the game. Yes, it has won the game. Thanks for telling me. So the visiting team wins this one. And the loss is going to go to Hunter, who struggled. And I'm going to have to check and see that. All right, so let's see. Yep, Waits is going to get the victory. He went 7. So definitely gets the victory. So Waits is going to get the victory. It's going to be, I guess, a hold for LaRoche. I don't know about that. So let's give Curran a save for sure. This was played on Tuesday the 22nd of 1976. 1976. And this is the, what is this? Is this the second? I believe this is the second game of a 4-game series between the Yankees, Cleveland at Yankees. Second game, Tuesday the 22nd at Yankee Stadium. And the loss is going to go to Hunter. Hunter drops to 10-6. Let me look at the box score real quick here and give you some data from the box score. So the Cleveland Indians win at 6 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors. Yankees had 5 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Waits gets the victory. He's 1-0. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout. Hunter drops to 10-6. Pitched 7 innings, gave up 11 hits, and 6 earned runs. Walked none, struck out 1. His ERA is up to 2.56. It was about like 1.50 at one point. But he's really struggled as of late. Tidrow came in 1.2, gave up a couple of hits. Then it was Lyle who kind of rescued Tidrow, came in there and got the 1 big out. Walked 1, but then got a 1 big out. And his ERA is about 198, excuse me. Let me look quickly at the heroes for the Yanks today. Munson went 1 for 4, but drove in 3 runs. Rivers went 3 for 4. He's got his batting average to 301. He was in the top 10 hitters of 1976. Mickey Rivers. So Larvell Blanks, holy smokes! You know, Larvell Blanks was from a town where my kids grew up, Del Rio, Texas. We actually met Larvell Blanks at a opening day for Little League. He came over and he shook my hand, and he shook my son's hand, and was in pictures with my son. Larvell Blanks, Del Rio, Texas. Crazy story. Anyway, one of my the Astros, Jack Mayfield was my son's trainer. Got a lot of videos of him pitching to my son. Jack Mayfield from the Houston Astros. So that's very cool too. I got a lot of pictures of Jack Mayfield around and newspaper articles. He's from Del Rio, Texas as well. Went to the same high school as my daughter. All right. There's a lot of baseball playing in Texas for sure. So Rivers had 3 hits, raised his average to 301. Let's see. Chambliss went 1 for 4, still batting 264. I'm waiting for him to get up a little bit higher. Randolph went 1 for 4, batting 291. So the batting average are very, very close to. The only one that I would say is batting a little bit worse than, noticeably worse than he actually did. And let me double check that. Is Greg Nettles. Greg Nettles batted 254 in reality. In our replay, Greg Nettles is batting 202. He's really struggled, especially in the first part of the season. He went 0 for 4 today with a strikeout. So he's the only one out of all the players that I would say is and then, of course, Munson is batting about 50 points higher than his average. But those are anomalies that you always get no matter what system you use. I've had those anomalies in every single system that I've played. You know, there's always a couple of guys that are either doing really much better than what they did or way worse than what they did. And that's about it. Healy had a hit. Gamble went 1 for 1. He's got his batting average at 272. He was batting like 190 for a while. Randolph, I said, had a hit. So, another one who's doing pretty poorly is Fred Stanley. Fred Stanley batted 238. He's batting 150 in our replay. But he can. I mean, some guys can bring up their averages pretty quickly. They can go 4 for 4, and they can bring up their average 50 points because they haven't had a lot of at-bats. Fred Stanley hasn't really played much, so he should do a little bit better. But Jim Catfish Hunter is going to get the loss, and Rick Waits is going to get the win. And I think that's it for our presentation tonight of the 1976 Yankees using Inside Pitch. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. There is a lot of stuff going on, so it's a little bit of a challenge to stream Inside Pitch, I find sometimes. You got to really kind of focus on what you're doing. There's a lot of different, matrices that you got to look at. It's not hard, but you just got to focus on it. And sometimes you get a little sidetracked, and I'm cautious. I don't want to get sidetracked because if I go into a story, I'll come back and I won't remember where I am. And, whose card I was looking at. Did I stop after the pitcher? So I try to, really focus, and sometimes it kind of slows me up a little bit and gets me kind of stuck in a slump. So, but yeah, this is a great game. A lot of fun replaying the 1976 Yankees. I try to do 3 games off and 1 game on with Inside Pitch. There's some other systems that are much easier to replay and stream simultaneously. And talk and tell stories and do kind of, present broadcast the plays and so on and so forth. So that's about it. And this is CP Cards and Dice from your home for tutorials and strategy and player profiles, history reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and so much more. I got some infomercials going on now. I'm selling some strat things that kind of how can I say, lightening the load, if you will, right? Lightening the load. I have a lot of strat stuff, too much. It's taking up a lot of space on my shelves. I'm not playing it very much now. So I'm kind of moving some stuff. I'm moving Knights and Nettles and Dent are 4s and Randolph's a 5. Wow. Huh. That's interesting. Well, Randolph is a 5 and 76. Nettles is a 5. Dent is a pretty good fielder, so it's okay that he's a 4. But Nettles dropped one in 77. He's a 5 and 76. And Randolph is a 5, and so is Rivers is a 5. They have a really good offense. The Yankees do. And that's it. So I'm selling the 1984 Stratomatic set, and I did a video on that. You should check it out if you're interested in buying that set. I'm very negotiable on that set. If you have something around that you want to trade, I'm willing to trade. I'm willing to work out any deal. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up. If you're interested in that, just contact me at combatpainter@gmail.com, and I'll get right back to you. Yep, they are solid in 1976. So that's about it. So this is CP Cards and Dice saying thanks for stopping by and saying hello. I mean, it's always definitely appreciated to see you guys. And I had to do a stream today because there wasn't a lot of streaming action, which was a little frustrating. I noticed that. All right, and that's it. So I'm going to set up another game and probably play it quietly later on, take a break for an hour, eat something, have dinner, and then play it a little bit later, nice and quiet, and focus on it and have a nice time. Let's see who the next pitching matchup is. Cleveland, let's see. Next matchup is going to be, it's going to be a Wednesday game, June 23rd. So I'm almost 3 months into this replay. I've done April, May, and this is the end of June already. So the next game is going to be a night game. And it's Don Hood versus Kenny Holtzman. Holy smokes. We'll get those guys out. And this is how I start setting up my game. I usually set it up before I take my break. It depends how I feel. If I'm a little bit, if the game went long. So Kenny Holtzman just came from the Baltimore Orioles. Charlie Finley started dumping his A's, especially the ones that he knew wanted out. Vita Blue stayed. Bill North stayed. A couple of guys stayed, but pretty much he got rid of Holtzman and Jackson because he knew both those guys definitely wanted out. They wanted to become free agents. And it's going to be Don Hood. He's going to face the Yankees here. Don Hood. And we're setting that up, and we're almost we're done for the night here. Looking for Hood, set him up, and that'll be the next game's pitching matchup. It's going to be Kenny Holtzman versus the lefty. Lefty 2 southpaws going at it. And we're going to set that up at Yankee Stadium. So thanks for stopping by, guys. This is CP Cards and Dice saying sayonara, hasta luego, hasta la vista, ciao, bon voyage, arrivederci, and all the other cool stuff. Keep rolling.